Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly intuitive card reading for May 13th through 19th. Guys, I have to warn you before we jump into the video is that we've got birds chirping outside my window. It's later in the day, so I was not planning on this, but I hope it's not too distracting. They're kind of loud, but I hope we can get through this reading without any major interruptions. That's my first announcement. Second is, please like this video. It really helps the channel. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Share this video with anybody that really needs to hear the messages for the week. And comments are always welcome. You know I love them. Please put them down below. Feedback is welcomed as long as it's kind, okay? All right, guys, let's begin. Same 4 decks, different order, completely shuffled, same spread. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, we have need. Okay, awesome. All right, so we have the yang. Yang is we've got a really strong energy right off the bat, masculine energy, okay, is the yang. And then we actually have the number 1 that's really jumping out. So first of all, 1 is always linked to new beginnings. For a few weeks now, we've gotten a lot of messages saying that we're finally getting into that new beginning. We're finally starting to move things, move the needle on certain things. And the fact that yang is here, that masculine energy, which is more of the doing, being productive type energy that's kind of coming through, is coming through, is saying that, yeah, same thing, right? Is that we're really, the universe is asking us to really move forward and to really be in our doing, what have hair here, sorry, to be in our doing and actually get things done, okay? And that's what we need to do. And we need to kind of move like we're in a new beginning, like we need to start moving that way, okay? Let's actually see what's under action needed because they can be similar, as you guys know. Pride, okay, we actually got this in the daily, not too long ago, I think maybe over the weekend or towards the end of last week. But action needed, pride. And this is in a positive way, right? Because everything has a shadow, everything has a light. This is in the light, okay? So this is in the more positive way. Sometimes we think of pride in like a more negative thing. Hurt my pride is usually, how you hear the phrase. But this is more about being proud of who you are, and being proud of what you've accomplished. And being proud to just being proud in general, right? But also like having humility with it, right? That's kind of like the difference, right, between the shadow and the light. It's like, be humble, make sure that you've got some humility in here. But this is basically saying like, show yourself off almost like that's maybe not the right phrase. What am I trying to say here? Be loud and proud, right? And it's kind of like saying like, don't hide anymore. Like that's the energy kind of that I'm getting here. So the action needed is saying like, you can't hide anymore. Like you have to show people who you are, show up as you are, be proud of your accomplishments, make it known, that kind of thing. So we need to really bring that pride to the forefront and just, embody that, right? And so this is actually very similar. I'm not surprised that this is coming up because we did get more of a confident, whether it was the last reading and the reading before that, whether it was the monthly, definitely getting this energy of being more confident, right? We're stepping more into our true authentic selves and we are coming out of whatever the hell we went through the last 4 years, right? Everybody's journey was different. Some of us more positive than negative. Whatever journey it actually is, but whatever it is, you're coming out of it more confident, right? And so the fact that it's under action needed, it's basically saying like, it's time to exude that confidence to the world. It's time to exude that pride to the world, okay? So that's something that we definitely need to be doing, and that's part of the doing, right? Okay, we have issue, saboteur, shadow induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Okay, so this is about self-sabotage. Okay, so it's coming under issue. Okay, so it's saying that we might self-sabotage ourselves. You guys have, and that's usually how we hear saboteur, right? We hear it kind of in the negative, and it is kind of in the negative here, right? So watch out for opportunities where you might fall back into an old pattern or continue to sabotage your results or moving forward, okay? Because again, it's under issue, so it worries me a little bit. But let me pull the next one because sometimes issue and challenge is related, trust in higher forces. Okay. Okay, so not really. So let's just make sure we close this one up. So basically, we're getting in our own way. Okay, so that is the issue this week. We're getting our own way, especially in regards to moving forward. This with the shaman here, trust in higher forces. This is about trust. We've gotten so many inner knowing cards. And myself, I think I tell you guys this, I pull for myself like every day, off camera, obviously. I pull cards for myself every day. I've been getting myself, inner knowing type cards, okay? And, trusting your intuition, that kind of thing, and trust being kind of a theme, because honestly, we do need it, because we're in a period of transition, and we like, the reason it's coming up is because we're in a period of transition, okay? And things are uncertain, okay? So when things are uncertain, and I'm definitely getting this feeling that this is going to be a week where things do feel, yes, you do feel like you're moving forward, but there's still this uncertainty that kind of lingers with this. And it's definitely a challenge, right? It's under challenge. So to trust in that, and trust that it's going in the direction that we kind of want it to go, and that we are, that we are kind of moving past what we're trying to move past, again, in this journey that we've been on, basically. Change, chaos, and conflict. Okay, this is a positive one, okay? Don't be scared, because sometimes like the chaos and conflict card comes through pretty negatively. This is saying whatever was negative is changing, the conflict is resolving. The chaos is becoming less, less and less so. So I love it that it's next to the trust in higher forces, the shaman card, where it's saying, please trust that everything is going to be okay, that everything is going to not be certain, but everything is going to work itself out, and at least we can trust that the conflict is really coming to an end. So we're going to start feeling that. So something that has been Spirit is kind of alluding to this fact of something being open is finally being closed. Okay, that's kind of the message that I'm getting. It's showing me like a flap opening and closing, whatever that means to you guys. You guys know I read intuitively, so it's just basically saying, like, if there was a certain thing that was open for a long time that's been uncertain, right? Because that we definitely have this feeling of uncertainty in this corner up there, up here. It definitely does feel like at least the chaos of it. Like it's a little bit more defined, or we're really kind of understanding the ending towards something, or the last bit of something that we need to be doing to be, to be able to close it up. Okay. So, and basically chaos and uncertainty is kind of like the same thing in a weird way, right? Where it's saying like, we're going to be coming into the ending of not understanding what's kind of going on, where chaos is kind of, things are just, quote unquote random or chaotic or conflicting or uncertain. And so that is changing. So the fact that it's next to each other, it's basically saying, okay, I could see how these now connect. It's your environment is reflecting that, but your challenge is still to trust in it. It's basically saying, like, trust what you see. Okay, like, trust what is actually transpiring, and don't self-sabotage yourself, right? You have to be able to trust that you are moving forward, okay? So no going back into, and again, it's going to be an issue. Be compassionate to yourself if you fall into that category where you feel like you are getting back to a place where you're self-sabotaging yourself or whatever. But to mitigate that, to move past that, we really need that deep trust, okay? And it's not easy. I know, I say like a lot of these spiritual concepts like very loosely, and I totally, like letting go, like it could take years, to let go of something, or, really, it's very intricate. You need to process, certain parts of it, et cetera, et cetera. But so I know these spiritual concepts are really big, and I'm kind of saying it like a little bit on a small scale. I'm only reading for the, for the week, but, trust is like a lifelong, game, or pursuit is a good way to say it. Okay, let's move on. Focus. We have self-trust. Okay. Okay, we need to focus on trust. I'm not shocked that this came up. I love this artwork. I don't think I've ever pulled this card. This is a very beautiful card, but we need to focus more on not just trusting that everything is going to work itself out from the outside. We need to trust from the inside too. So we need to focus on that as well. I would actually argue it's an inside job. So it starts with you and do you trust yourself, that kind of thing. And then it'll exude towards the outside. And then you have to worry about the outside. But I see a theme, obviously, here. Reflect is sometimes similar. So let's go ahead and pull. Father, dictatorial control, abuse of authority. Okay, so good journal question. Sometimes good journal questions come out of this reflect section here. This is on us, guys. Okay, so this is, I know May, April was heavy on the shadow work stuff, right? And then May had a little bit of that still lingering, okay? So it makes sense that this is coming up because this kind of falls into this category because basically it's saying, where are you a dictator? I don't know if that's your journal question, and that's pretty blunt, but basically it's saying like, where are you telling people what to do or trying to control outcomes or, where are you abusing your authority? Okay. So look at things like that. Bits and pieces of that shadow will make its appearance, I guess I could say, this week. So that makes sense why it would come up and kind of trigger this, this thought pattern that we're kind of having. But it definitely does feel like that we are kind of facing this. This could also mean, again, I read intuitively, this could also mean that we may need to reflect on the father figures in our life and how they were controlling or some of their shadow and maybe how that has projected onto us, that kind of thing. How we're passing it down to our children, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a whole bunch of stuff here. So, we're not safe from shadow work, obviously, this week. So there we go with that father card. Responsibilities. We have shapeshifter, transform, and reveal your gifts. We've had this, I think, a couple of times already in the last few weeks. This is about being able, I remember this came up somewhere up here. And it was more so in a always trying to fit in, type of vibe going on there. Doesn't necessarily feel like that here this week under responsibilities. So this really more so means that the energy that we've gotten maybe a month or so ago about really utilizing our hidden talents, our skills, something that we can do that could really help us adapt and be flexible in a time of transition. So that's our responsibilities this week for sure, is to make sure we're up to date on these talents, skills, or abilities that we do have, to get recertified for something, to dust something off. That's the feeling that I'm getting. Dust something off meaning, polish our skills kind of thing, practice. I don't know if there's a practice card anywhere in here, at least these decks that I'm using. I know there's some, and there's one in another deck, but it always kind of feels like that. So it's a responsibility to make time this week to really brush up on some old skills, okay? Because it's going to come in handy. And it feels like maybe not this week, but also next week. But again, we'll have to see when I pull cards for the next week. Peace, finally. Oh my gosh. I've been waiting for a peace card forever. A lot of these energies have been kind of like alluding to that, but we haven't had one in about a month or so. So I'm happy it's here, and it's under money, finances, and career. So basically this is saying like, no worries, okay? Everything is going to be at peace. You're going to, the anxiety is going to really calm down a little bit. There's definitely going to be more calm energy when it comes to career, money, finances. This could mean if there was a lot of shifting around in career, job hopping, or whatever is kind of going on, the fact that we have the end of chaos and conflict just reconfirms that. If we've been up and down with money and haven't been stable with money, this feels like the end of that, at least, the beginning of the end, if that makes sense, of that. So we're definitely having a lot more peace and a lot more, the word stability is actually kind of coming up through here because of the topic. So, not too much more to worry about, but definitely some sort of peace is coming through for this area of our lives, which I don't know about you, but I'm happy to hear about that. Okay, surprise, distraction. Okay, interesting. Okay, so this could be related to the self-sabotaging, okay, because we have a focus, right? I know this says focus. Yeah, we have to do the inner work and, and trust, but also, too, we need to get things done at the same time, okay? So, we need to be confident doing it. But this is saying that we might get distracted. Okay, so I definitely do feel like this is coming through so strong, and that might sabotage our process, our progress. So we're gonna get distracted. Okay. Anything that has distracted you in the past, it's almost like, I don't even want to say like shiny object syndrome. If you guys know what that is, that's basically like, I think that actually came from, where did that come from? I think it's just like in general, like you see like something really shiny and you're like, ooh, you know, like, kind of like a dog, you know, where not comparing us to dogs or anything, but, you know, a dog gets excited for like every new toy that you give it, you know, because it has like a short attention span. And so it kind of feels like that. In a way, it kind of feels like that there might be, like, because I see that as like not a positive, but, how do I say this? This feels like it's like, I'll be honest with you, like it feels like pretty negative, because, and what I mean by negative is like, it feels like it's going to throw you off a little bit. Okay. And it feels like it's going to, test you, like I said, with the self-sabotaging for sure. But it definitely does feel like it comes out of the blue, right? Because it is under surprise. It definitely, you know, carries that energy with it. But it also just feels like it's something you can't even necessarily predict. That's what coming for, you know, is a surprise. But sometimes you get feelings about things. You know, sometimes I pull this card and I'm like, oh, I'm not shocked at this, but I am pretty shocked. Even though the Saboteur card could have given me kind of like a hint on this, but yeah, it definitely does feel like there is something kind of going to go on that might thwart your efforts this week. Spirit says it's not like a huge deal. Like I will say, it doesn't necessarily completely throw you off the path, you know, or your direction, but it comes in hard and fast is the best way I can kind of describe it, guys. Please forgive me there. But it comes very, and it's funny because it's not chaotic. It doesn't give the same type of messiness necessarily, or like, because chaos is kind of like, what's going on? You know, like this just comes in like, you know, just kind of like a more of a left field kind of thing, that creates some type of distraction. So I actually feel this more towards the end of the week. So whatever it actually is for you guys, you know, again, comment down below, if it resonates with you or if you have an idea of what it could be. But I'm telling you, you might want to come back to this video and let us know, because it definitely does come out of left field for sure. All right, what do we got in the friends section here? Alchemist, transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom. Amazing. So this is really about being a good manipulator, basically a positive manipulator, meaning like you have the power to change things. You have the power to create your own reality. You have the power to transform, right? And I use the word transform. I'm pretty sure I did. My memory's not that great, as you guys know, but I'm pretty sure I did earlier about... We're going through something, right? And we're still kind of going through it, but we're really trying to reach the other side at this point. And basically this is saying that, you know, we're getting there. And now it's time to bring, you know, we're trying to do it with the wisdom that we have. And the fact that it's under friends, we have gone through a lot of transformation with friends, with our friend groups. And so this is basically saying any new friends or connections that you make, you have this newfound wisdom about what you're looking for in people. Does this necessarily mean that you might be meeting new people this week? Maybe, but it feels more reflective or introspective, or just kind of the general energy of knowing what you're kind of looking for in your connections and your bonds going forward, and you know, in your new life, and realizing that you can create that. So a lot of, you know, aha moments around this week. Maybe some of you guys are meeting new people. Maybe you guys are still in the midst of kind of transforming that energy. But it definitely does feel like we're kind of on the other side with this, with the wisdom of what we're kind of looking for in people that we surround ourselves with. And that's a positive thing. Romantic connection. We have moon, take note of intuitive messages. Okay, so intuition is going to play a huge part in our romantic connections this week. So listen to your intuition. I know, we've had a couple of trust things. So trust yourself. Okay, so trust your intuition and trust a higher power, right? So it's the two trusts, right? It's the self-trust and it's the, it's the universal trust, if you want to call it that. But both require, using your intuitive abilities. Both require, knowing, feeling that it's going to be okay, knowing it's going to be okay. I know we don't have straight, inner knowings, but like I mentioned earlier, we've had a lot about it the last few weeks. So this is basically just saying, use your intuition. It's not a time to, let's just put it this way, if you've been using more logic in your romantic connections in the last few weeks or so, it's definitely going to be a pretty stark change this week, and definitely listen to what your gut is saying, okay? It's going to be very, very important for your romantic connections, and not like in a neutral way. It's not positive, it's not negative, it's just saying listen to your intuition. What is your gut telling you that it needs from your relationship or whatever, that's kind of going on. And also for you single people and the people that are dating, use your intuition, okay? What's important? To be fair. Okay, so this is saying, again, intuitively, it feels like we're judging something. We need to make a fair decision. We need to be more fair, okay? Be more, like I'm just getting like, be more fair, okay? So it's important that we judge things correctly and that we're seeing things from an even keel perspective. That's the best way I can describe it. I'm going to be honest with you guys, it feels more so when it comes to our relationships, so or our connections, or that kind of thing. I definitely do feel like I'm getting this vibe of not taking things personally, so I'll throw that out there. Do not take things personally this week, okay? It's important to kind of remove yourself and see things more objectively, which is really funny because I just started telling you guys about intuition with our relationships, but this is particularly having to do with our romantic connections, okay? So something, a little bit different. This feels like it could be family. This, more so like family. Could be friends, but it definitely does feel like we should be looking at things. And I would say it's like more so like on the, I don't want to say like secondary relationships, because that's not fair. No pun intended, but it almost feels like, maybe like work relationships or more acquaintances or people you see on TV or family. I don't think, guys, scratch from the record. I didn't mean to say sad. I'm trying to describe what I'm trying to feel as far as the types of connections, and I didn't mean to say that family is secondary relationships. I'm just trying to say everything outside of a romantic connection is kind of, and friends is on the table. I know that it is very murky waters, but take it as it resonates. Take what resonates, leave the rest. I tried my best with this one, but I hope you guys understand. If not, put it down below. Or let me know how it manifested for you, so that it could, connect the dots for me. Health and wellness, we have justice. Okay, find it very interesting that we have it next to be fair, okay? To be fair is a sort of kind of like justice, okay? But this could just mean, this is what it has to do with health and wellness. So this has to do with taking care of our mental, emotional, spiritual health, being well. Okay, so the fact that justice is under here, it's saying that things are evening out. Things are starting to feel like that the wheels of justice are being turned, and things are, I wouldn't say going more in your favor, but just balancing itself out, okay? Whatever that actually means, okay? So, like you'll just, like, I don't know about you guys, but I have a strong connection to justice. My name Justine means justice. FYI, it actually means fairness. Anyway, maybe you guys guessed that because it's really one letter off, but Anyway, so I do have this strong, deep connection with it. And so it almost, and I'm telling you guys this because I'm trying to explain how it feels, where that feeling of, it's not revenge, it's justice. Like it's finally something makes sense. Finally you get, X, Y, or Z gets the, has that forced accountability. I don't know if that's kind of an oxymoron term, to be honest with you, but this will look different for everybody. But there has something to do with the tables are turning. The tables are turning. Let's put it that way. When it comes to our health and wellness, and if it feels like you have been wronged or have been treated unfairly, it feels like the tables are turning. That's the best way I can describe it. I'm probably over explaining it and you guys are getting more confused, so I will move on. But that's kind of the vibe going on there. Okay, overall outcome. We have Midas, Miser, upside down. Okay, hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. Okay, interesting. And this is under overall outcome. Okay, so this is pretty, this is saying that we are afraid, we have a lot of fear, and we have a lot of fear of things being taken from us, things being stolen, or how do I explain this? More like a lack mentality, actually, if we can kind of sum that up. So we definitely do have this lack mentality, okay? So we're closing the week with this. This, again, kind of, I don't know if that's the right term or not to use, but it's part of the shadow self, I would say. So it's also part of the shadow work that we have to do. But we are in lack mentality. So we feel like we don't have enough, or we're not going to have enough, or we are afraid of losing something. There's just like a lot of fear that kind of comes up here, that's pertaining to the things that I'm saying. And it's very different from that beginning energy, because it really those first two cards are really an anomaly with the rest of the reading, because it feels like Spirit is like asking us to move forward. It's still reminding us that we need to move forward. We need to move forward with more pride and more confidence, but we have all of these few things that kind of get thrown in here that really kind of are obstacles in our way. Like, if I'm looking at this as a whole, which I am because all the cards are pulled, it's basically saying we have a lot of obstacles to overcome this week, okay? And it hits us with like a big bombshell towards the end, basically saying, yeah, and we also have this big thing of lack, a big fear of lack that we really need to work through, okay? We need to work through trust. We need to work through self-sabotage. We need to work through becoming more proud of ourselves. We need to overcome the distraction, so there's a lot of different things that we need to overcome. And there's a lot of different obstacles, but this lack of security, just being in lack in general. It's just, it's so funny because it almost feels like we talked about you becoming more confident, but something happens this week. Something tells me it has something to do with the distraction. And, potentially doing more shadow work, that we kind of lose our confidence a little bit, okay? So it's so interesting that we have like the stark energies from, 1 week to the next. It might have been 2 weeks ago, but still I feel like that's a big change. But something's going on this week. Something's in the air this week, let's put it that way. Something's in the energy, okay? Is there anything I could say saying like it's a bad week? No. But it definitely does feel like it has its obstacles, okay? So it has a few things kind of going on. So that's really all I'm going to say, to be honest with you guys. hopefully that makes sense for you. Put down below, if it doesn't, if you want any clarification, or let me know how this resonates for you. Always come back to the videos, guys, at the end of the week. I like doing that to re-listen to it and see how things kind of transpired for me. Just a little tip. But other than that, I want to wish you guys a wonderful week. Like I said, I don't feel like it's a quote unquote bad week. I don't love using that word, but there's a couple of, obstacles, I'll use that term, and a couple of, pink flags, but nothing we can't handle. But it definitely does feel like we have our work cut out for ourselves this week. So, sending you lots of love, and like I said, have a good week. See you next week. Bye.